Welcome back to the Quarterly Call. All content is for informational purposes and is not investment advice. Please consult with an investment professional. So today we're going to unpack the latest from Palo Alto Networks. This is their Q3 2025 earnings call. And right away, one number jumps out.
Which one's that?
The next-gen security ARR. Over $5 billion now.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's up 34% year over year. Pretty significant growth there.
Absolutely. And, beyond just the headline number, what I found really interesting was the why behind it. Their platform strategy seems to be hitting its stride, and it feels like it's really connecting with these two big trends we're seeing everywhere.
You mean AI and security complexity?
Exactly. The sort of frantic pace of AI adoption, plus this real need companies have to just simplify their security stacks.
Yeah, the AI urgency definitely felt like a constant theme on the call.
It really did.
It's not really a choice anymore, is it? It's become, strategically vital. The risk of just standing still seems huge now.
That's the sense you get. And that push into AI, it's actually speeding up cloud migration.
Ah, interesting. So companies maybe holding back are now moving faster to the cloud to, leverage AI.
Precisely. Which, naturally, creates a bigger need for solid cloud security.
And the money involved.
Yeah.
They threw out a number, right? Something like $300 billion projected spend on AI infrastructure.
Yeah, in the next year alone. It's staggering.
And securing all of that, the data, the actual AI models, the infrastructure, it's got to be top of mind.
It has to be. And that's where the old way of doing things, with tons of different point products, it starts to break down.
Right. Too complex, too slow.
Exactly. The call really hammered this point about consolidation. If threats are getting faster, maybe AI-powered, you just can't afford the friction and latency of a fragmented system.
Makes total sense. You need that unified view, unified control.
And they kept framing security as fundamentally a data problem.
Okay.
Their argument is basically, we have the most data, the broadest data, so we can spot threats others miss.
And they had that example, didn't they? Unit 42.
Oh, yeah, the ransomware simulation. Using AI, they supposedly pulled off an attack in under 25 minutes.
Wow.
It just highlights why you need that near real-time analysis of massive data sets.
So this all neatly ties back into their big bet platformization.
It does. The core idea being, better security outcomes and a lower total cost of ownership if you consolidate onto their platform.
And it sounds like customers are buying into it. They mentioned, what was it, over 90 new platform deals in Q3?
Yeah, big deals too. That brings them to about 1,250 platformizations within their top 5,000 customers.
That's quite a bit of penetration.
And what's maybe even more telling is the growth in customers adopting multiple parts of the platform. That's up nearly 70% year on year.
Okay, so they're not just buying one piece, they're going deeper.
Exactly. And Cortex, especially XIM, seems key here. Customers platformized on Cortex nearly tripled.
Let's talk about XIM in a sec, but first, the big customer growth.
Yeah.
Impressive numbers there, too.
Yeah, definitely. 130 customers now doing over $5 million in NGS ARR. That's up over 40%.
Okay.
And 44 customers doing over $10 million, up over 60%.
So they're landing these big accounts and really expanding within them.
Seems that way. They give some good examples.
Right, the consulting firm.
Yeah, a huge global one, a $90 million deal, mostly Cortex and XIM.
And that replaced their old SIEM system.
Yep. Replaced the legacy SIEM, cut down their response times, consolidated 4 different tools.
And nearly doubled their total spend with Palo Alto Networks.
That's a powerful story. Then there was the financial services company.
Another big one, $46 million.
That's right, XIM again. Consolidated 4 products, but interestingly, they displaced established EDR and SIEM vendors.
Ooh, okay. So kicking out incumbents.
And they expanded their network security platformization at the same time.
And one more, a U.S. financial firm.
$32 million deal. Network and cloud security consolidation. 4 products again.
And the driver there was just complexity reduction.
Explicitly, yeah. A mandate to cut down on the number of tools. These examples really show what's driving those deals.
So let's pivot back to Cortex and specifically XAM. The call made it sound like its growth is really picking up pace.
Accelerating, yeah. And becoming more impactful to the overall growth picture. They're definitely positioning it as a potential game changer.
Disrupting the old SIEM market.
That's the goal.
Excellent.
Modernizing it, really. Taking all that security data and putting it into an AI-driven SOC platform.
And the results are claiming. Reducing response times from weeks to minutes.
That's the headline benefit, yeah. Pretty compelling if they can deliver that consistently.
And the customer uptake. About 270 XIM customers already.
Yep, with an average ARR over $1 million each. And that's just, what, 30 months since it went GA?
Pretty rapid adoption for that
And
scale.
the ARR growth itself, over 200% year over year for XIM. They said that's nearly twice as fast as the nearest competitor. They're getting close to $1 billion in trailing 12-month bookings just for XIM.
Against a $40 billion market opportunity in CCOPs.
Yeah.
You can see the potential.
Definitely. And they also mentioned Cortex Cloud, which is newer but already seeing strong interest, like a 9-figure pipeline.
And more features being built on that XNAM data platform, right? Email security, exposure management.
Exactly. Leveraging that massive data ingestion, nearly 12 petabytes a day, they said.
12 petabytes daily.
That's what they claimed.
Yeah.
And that data doesn't just power existing features, it helps them spot opportunities for new markets, potentially unlocking more TAM.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Network security. Still a core area for them, obviously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Still leading the market, gaining share across all the form factors, physical appliances, software firewalls, cloud.
And product revenue grew 16% in Q3.
Yep, 16%. With software becoming a bigger part of that mix, appliance demand was apparently stable.
But the software firewall ARR,
Yeah.
that was growing faster, around 20%.
Right, and that links back to what we said earlier, driven heavily by public cloud adoption, which is itself getting a boost from AI initiatives.
It all connects. Okay, what about SaaS, Secure Access Service Edge?
Big growth driver. They called it the fastest growing form factor in network security.
And the numbers back that up.
36% year over year SaaS AR growth in Q3. That's more than double the overall market growth rate for SaaS.
Wow. And are they getting new customers with SaaS?
Seems like it. 40% of new SaaS customers in the quarter were completely new to Palo Alto networks.
That's significant. How many SaaS customers overall?
Around 6,000 now, up 22% year over year.
And within SaaS, that Prisma Access browser? And that sounded like a standout.
It really did. Apparently, it accounted for a third of all the Prisma Access seats they sold.
A third. From the browser component alone.
Yeah. They've sold something like 3 million licenses for it in the 18 months since they bought Talon.
The company they acquired for that tech.
Exactly. That's up over 10x year over year, and they have a, quote, healthy 9-figure pipeline just for the browser part.
So what's the strategic play there? Why is the browser so important?
Well, their thinking is, as everything moves to the cloud and AI tools are accessed via the web, the browser becomes the main workspace. It's the new OS, in a way.
Okay, so securing the browser is paramount.
Right. It's where the users interact with sensitive data and applications. So it's positioned as this crucial control point for security and productivity.
Got it. Now, they also announced something called Prisma AIRS, AI Runtime Security.
Yes. This is about helping customers secure their own AI rollouts.
Because Palo Alto Networks is using AI heavily internally so they understand the risks.
That's the idea. They mentioned using over 35 AI models themselves, so they know you need to discover these models, scan them, test them, protect the data they use.
So AIRS is meant to help enterprises do that whole lifecycle management for AI security.
Pretty much. Discovering AI artifacts, scanning, testing, checking data security posture, monitoring AI apps once they're live, that kind of thing.
And they're acquiring a company in this space too, right? Protect.ai.
Correct. An early player focused specifically on AI model scanning and red teaming for AI.
And they're seeing interest already.
Apparently, yeah. An 8-figure pipeline just since they announced the deal shows the demand is there.
Okay, let's quickly run through the key financials for Q3 again.
Sure. Total revenue, $2.29 billion. That's up 15%.
NGS ARR, we mentioned, $5.09 billion, up 34%.
AI ARR, the revenue specifically tagged to AI, is around $400 million now, growing like crazy over 2.5 times year over year.
Wow. RPO, remaining performance obligation.
Grew 19% to $13.5 billion. Solid backlog.
Earnings per share. Non-GAAP was $0.80.
And adjusted free cash flow, $578 million for the quarter.
They also paid down some debt.
Yeah, $151 million through early conversion of some convertible notes, tagging up the balance sheet.
And the guidance for the full fiscal year 25, basically holding steady.
Pretty much reiterated. Looking for NGS ARR around $5.5 billion, RPO over $15 billion, total revenue just under $9.2 billion.
And expecting strong margins and free cash flow, especially in Q4.
Right. They guided for operating margins around 28.2% to 28.5%, and adjusted free cash flow margin around 37.5% to 38%, with Q4 expected to be a bigger contributor to that cash flow.
So the overall takeaway seems to be strong demand, especially for consolidation and help with AI security, and a good pipeline heading into the final quarter.
That's the picture they painted, yeah.
They also touched on a longer-term vision, didn't they? About where security is headed in, say, 5 years.
They did. The idea is security delivered primarily from a big security data lake, heavily reliant on ML and AI.
Because traditional policy-based security won't cut it against AI-powered attacks.
That's the thesis. It'll be too slow, too reactive. You'll need AI fighting AI, essentially.
And this concept of agentic AI.
Right. AI agents that have broad access to data, endpoint, network, cloud, and can autonomously detect and remediate threats.
So taking automated action, not just alerting.
Exactly. And the data you gather for that incident response, you can then feed it back to improve your policies, strengthen your perimeter defenses proactively.
It's a continuous loop.
Supposedly. And in that world, they see Prisma Access Browser as a key edge sensor, giving visibility.
While something like XIM is the brain, analyzing the data and coordinating the response.
That seems to be the vision.
And finally, tying it all back to platformization, they have a goal for the number of platform customers.
Yeah, aiming for somewhere between 2,500 and 3,500 customers, fully platformized across multiple domains.
And they think that gets them to their big $15 billion ARR target.
Based on the current ARR they're getting per platform deal, yes, that's the trajectory they project.
And those platform customers would make up a huge chunk of the business then.
Expected to be 60% to 70% of NGS ARR once they hit that level of platformization.
So summing up Q3, strong momentum, platform strategy working, AI is a huge tailwind and focus area.
Yeah, that covers it pretty well. Growth in NGS ARR is robust, platformization deals are stacking up, and they're clearly investing heavily in AI, both for their own products and to help customers secure their AI journeys. Consolidation is the name of the game.
It really feels like AI is shifting from just a feature to the fundamental core of cybersecurity strategy for both attackers and defenders.
Absolutely. It's reshaping the landscape very quickly.
And the platform approach seems well suited to that new reality, bringing data and capabilities together.
That's certainly the argument they're making, and the numbers for now seem to support it. XIM and SASE are definitely areas to watch closely.
So a final thought maybe for you listening. As AI gets woven even deeper into cybersecurity, what happens next? What kind of truly new security capabilities might emerge when AI isn't just analyzing data, but actively participating in defense in real time across the entire network and all endpoints? Something to chew on. Thank you so much for tuning into the Quarterly Call. For more episodes, please remember to rate and follow our show. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.